The Airbnb smells like rosemary and burnt ambition when I walk through the door. Floor-to-ceiling windows frame downtown Austin like a postcard nobody asked for. All glass towers and November sunset bleeding orange across the Colorado River. My mother has already set the Thanksgiving table with cream linens she brought from home because she doesn't trust rental silverware. Kalen connects his laptop to the massive television mounted above the limestone fireplace. His hands shake. 30 years old and still fumbling with an HDMI cable like it might bite him. Almost ready, he says to no one in particular. I take my seat between Piper and some second cousin whose name I've already forgotten. Warren, my father, pours wine with the careful attention of a man investing in his son's future. Blythe hovers near Kalen's shoulder, straightening his collar even though we're family, even though none of this requires performance. Except it does. It always does with him. The first PowerPoint slide flashes onto the screen. AI Art Gallery, revolutionizing creative spaces. The font is Comic Sans. I press my lips together and study my water glass. So, Kalen begins, his voice cracking slightly. I've been working on this concept for 8 months now. 8 months. The same amount of time I spent closing the Riverside Plaza deal that netted my firm $4 million in management fees. He clicks to the next slide. It's a blurry screenshot of what might be AI-generated paintings, or possibly just abstract smears he found on Google Images. The intersection of technology and human creativity, he reads directly from the slide, represents an untapped market opportunity. Warren nods like Kalen just quoted scripture. Blythe actually takes notes on a small pad she pulled from her purse. I cut into my turkey. The meat is dry. Initial investment needed, Kalen continues, advancing to a slide that's just numbers in different colored fonts. $100,000. This covers gallery space lease, initial AI software licensing, and operational costs for the first 6 months. Piper shifts beside me. She's my cousin, my mother's sister's daughter, and the only person at this table who's ever asked me a direct question about my actual life. Sounds ambitious, Warren says, and I can already see him mentally liquidating something. Probably the mutual fund he said was for retirement. Kalen launches into projected revenue streams that rely entirely on words like synergy and disruption. I count the number of times he says, basically, 17. When he finally stops talking, Blythe dabs at her eyes. It's wonderful, sweetheart. So innovative. Sienna, Piper says, her voice cutting through the congratulations already forming. Are you still in Chicago? I heard you got a huge promotion. The table goes quiet. Even the second cousin, whose name I don't remember, looks up from his phone. I set down my fork with deliberate care. Actually, I'm relocating to New York. Tribeca. I closed on a place last week. Oh, that's exciting, Piper says. Renting? No, I bought it. She smiles, genuine and warm. That's amazing. What a great investment. 2.5 million. The words come out steady, factual. Cash. Hudson River view. Warren's wineglass slips from his fingers. The sound of crystal shattering against Italian marble is surprisingly loud. Red wine spreads across the cream tablecloth like a wound, dripping onto the floor in thick drops that sound like a clock counting down. Nobody moves. Kalen's face transforms, going from pale to purple in the space of a heartbeat. His fork slams down. 2.5 million? In Tribeca? Jesus Christ, Sienna. Who did you have to sleep with for that? The words hang there, ugly and impossible to take back. Blythe recovers first. Kalen, honey, you're just stressed about your presentation. Her hand reaches for his arm, but he jerks away. Warren's staring at me like I just confessed to murder. Sienna, how could you not tell us about this? The absurdity of the question nearly makes me laugh. Tell them, as if I owe them a detailed financial report, as if my success requires their permission. Kalen stands so fast his chair scrapes across the floor. This is typical. This is so fucking typical. You always have to one-up me. Always. I watch wine drip onto the floor. Steady. Rhythmic. My heartbeat feels the same way. Distant and mechanical. Somewhere in my memory, I'm 18 again. Kalen's birthday party at that downtown Chicago lounge, 200 of his closest friends, an open bar that cost Warren $10,000. My birthday dinner was 3 weeks later at Olive Garden, just the 4 of us, and Blythe spent most of it on her phone coordinating Kalen's summer trip to Barcelona. He got a BMW 3 Series with a bow on it. Navy blue, leather interior, his name on the registration. I got a refurbished Dell laptop. $300. Warren handed it to me across the breadsticks and said, "You're so practical, Sienna. You don't need the flash." Strong, Blythe called me. Over and over, my entire childhood. Sienna's the strong one. She handles everything. What they meant was, Sienna doesn't complain. Sienna doesn't need. Sienna makes it easy for us to forget her. I pick up my napkin and fold it with careful precision. When I speak, my voice doesn't shake. I earned every penny through 80-hour work weeks and deals that actually closed. I look at Warren, then Blythe, then finally Kaylin. You got a BMW at 18. I got a $300 laptop. You got $8,000 wired to Barcelona for a semester emergency that was actually bottle service. You got startup funding for 3 different failed businesses. You're just a robot, Kaylin spits, pushing numbers around. You don't create anything. You don't contribute anything meaningful to the world. Warren holds up his hand. Sienna, that's enough. Apologize to your brother. The room tilts slightly. Or maybe that's just me, finally seeing clearly. Piper's gone completely still beside me. The forgotten cousin has his phone out. Blythe is crying, mascara tracking down her cheeks in careful lines. And Warren, my father, is looking at me like I'm the problem, like I'm the one who shattered something precious. The wine is still dripping. Each drop sounds louder than the last. My new apartment smells like recycled air and expensive failure. I sit cross-legged on the king bed with my laptop balanced on a pillow, still wearing yesterday's clothes because unpacking felt like admitting I'd be here longer than planned. My phone buzzes. Piper's name lights up the screen. I had no idea it was this bad. I stare at the text for a full minute before turning to work. The cursor blinks in my spreadsheet. Column A, date. Column B, amount. Column C, recipient. Column D, purpose, alleged. The bank statements I requested 3 days ago are PDF files now, lined up in my downloads folder like evidence at a crime scene. I've been avoiding them. Knowing something happened and seeing the precise dollar amount are different species of pain. I open the first file. May 2015. A wire transfer for $8,000 to Kaylin Edwards. The memo line reads, Barcelona emergency. There was no emergency. He posted Instagram photos from that trip for 6 months straight. Rooftop bars. Paella. A blonde girl whose name he never mentioned. The emergency was running out of money for bottle service. I copy the amount into my spreadsheet. The number sits there, neat and accusatory. June 2015. Another transfer. $3,000. Memo. Startup costs. Which startup? The organic juice bar that closed in 4 months? The app that never launched? The vintage clothing store that got evicted for unpaid rent? I keep scrolling. The transfers blur together. A parade of 4-figure failures. September 2016. $5,200. January 2017. $6,800. March 2017. $4,100. My 18th birthday gift was a refurbished laptop. Kaylin's 18th birthday gift was a BMW. The math starts adding up in ways that make my chest feel hollow. I create a new tab. Label it Comparative Analysis, because corporate language makes horrible things manageable. Age 18. Kaylin receives $32,000. Car down payment. Insurance. First semester. Sienna receives $300. Laptop. Age 21. Kaylin receives $15,000, DUI lawyer, court fees, car replacement, after he totaled the BMW. Sienna receives $0, paid own rent, own tuition, own existence. Age 25. Kaylin receives $28,000, first startup attempt. Sienna receives a phone call asking why she doesn't visit more often. The cursor hovers over a transfer from December 2018. $12,000. Memo. Holiday assistance. I remember that Christmas. I flew home from Chicago, arrived with gifts I'd spent 2 weeks' salary on. Kaylin showed up empty-handed, 3 hours late, wearing a Canada Goose jacket that cost more than my monthly rent. Just something I picked up, he'd said when Blythe commented on it. $12,000. That's what he picked up. My phone rings. I consider ignoring it, but Blythe's name fills the screen and muscle memory makes me answer. Sienna. Her voice cracks immediately, tears already in progress. How could you do this to us? I don't respond. The The spreadsheet is up to $187,000 now, and I'm only through 2019. You've destroyed family unity. Your father can't sleep. Kalen is devastated. Kalen called me a whore at Thanksgiving dinner yesterday. He was stressed about his presentation. You know how sensitive he is. The tears shift into something sharper. Your success makes him feel worthless. I click to another bank statement. March 2020, $8,000. Memo. Pandemic relief. That's not my responsibility, I say. You're his sister. Blythe's voice rises. Family takes care of each other. Family. The word tastes like something spoiled. When's the last time anyone asked how I was doing? Silence. Then. You're always fine. You're the strong one. Right. I add another line to the spreadsheet. April 2020. $6,500. May 2020. $4,200. I'm fine, which is why you favor him over your daughter. Favoring, that's not true. You're making things up. I also have bank statements. We have always invested in his potential. That's different. You cashed out your retirement fund for his Barcelona semester. Her breathing changes, gets careful. Who told you that? Dad's 401k withdrawal form was in the file cabinet. I saw it when I was home for Christmas 2016. I'd found it by accident, looking for my birth certificate. The amount had seemed shocking then. Now it just seems like part of the pattern. You had no right to go through our papers. You had no right to call me selfish for succeeding. Blythe makes a sound like something breaking. If you don't apologize to your brother, we're not coming to your housewarming. The threat lands wrong. She thinks it's leverage. I hear freedom. Okay, I say. Okay? That's all you have to say? Don't come then. I hang up before she can respond. My hands aren't shaking. That feels significant somehow. The spreadsheet is complete now. $437,000, transferred over 10 years. The number sits at the bottom of column B, highlighted in red by Excel's helpful auto-formatting. My phone buzzes again. Not Blythe this time. Warren. I let it go to voicemail. When the notification appears, I play it on speaker. Sienna, this is your father. His voice is formal, like he's leaving a message for a business associate. Your mother is very upset. Kalen is talking about seeing a therapist because of your behavior. We think you should apologize and offer him a position at your firm. He needs structure. You have the resources to help him. The message ends. I save it to a folder labeled Documentation. Then I search my email. The keyword is simple. Kalen, Sienna. The results load. 43 threads. I start with the oldest. From Warren Edwards. Subject. Ray. Graduation gift. Date. May 2014. Sienna doesn't need a party. She's not the celebrating type. Let's put that money toward Kalen's Europe trip instead. I graduated summa cum laude. Kalen had graduated 3 years later with a 2.1 gigapascals and a general studies degree that meant he'd changed majors 5 times. I keep reading. Email after email, a decade of casual dismissal. My achievements are mentioned in single sentences. Kalen's failures are discussed in paragraphs of sympathy and strategic planning. Subject. Sienna's promotion. Body. That's wonderful, honey. By the way, Kalen needs $3,000 for his new business venture, Reba. Subject. Kalen's opportunity. Body. 8 paragraphs about his vision, his potential, his sensitive artist soul. No mention that the opportunity was a pyramid scheme. My phone lights up. A text from an unknown number, but the message makes the sender obvious. You're tearing this family apart. Mom's crying. Dad's furious. Hope you're happy, you soulless corporate drone. I screenshot it. Add it to the documentation folder. Then I open my contacts and scroll to Kalen's name. My thumb hovers over the block button. Alistair Vance told me once that I operate like someone with no safety net. He meant it as observation, not criticism. At the time, I nodded and changed the subject because he was right, and I didn't want to explain why. I press block. The confirmation screen appears. You will no longer receive calls or messages from this contact. Delete contact? Yes. The action feels remarkably simple. 1 button press. 30 years of conditioning. Erased. My laptop screen has gone dark. When I tap the trackpad, the spreadsheet reappears. $437,000. I create a new document. Title it, Timeline of Financial Favoritism. Start typing. Every birthday. Every Christmas. Every emergency that wasn't. Every startup that failed. Every promise that my turn would come later. Later never came. Outside my window, New York is all lit windows and distant sirens. The city looks clean from 18 floors up. Manageable. Like a spreadsheet where everything adds up correctly. My phone buzzes one more time. Piper again. I believe you. If you need me to confirm anything, I will. I saw it too. I text back 4 words. Thank you. That matters. Then I return to the timeline. There's work to do. Security calls my direct line at 10:47 a.m. on a Tuesday, almost a month later. I'm 3 slides into a portfolio review when my phone vibrates across the conference table. Miss Edwards, there's a situation in the lobby? I excuse myself, stepping into the hallway where December wind rattles the windows. What kind of situation? A family member says he needs to speak with you. He's getting loud. My stomach drops. What's his name? Kalen Edwards. Should I call the police? Through the phone, I hear it, his voice echoing off marble 43 floors below. She owes me. That apartment should be mine. Give me 5 minutes, I tell security. If he's still there, yes, call them. I return to the conference room where Alistair is studying the skyline. Everything all right? My brother is in the lobby making a scene. He doesn't ask questions, just closes his laptop. Go. Handle it. By the time I reach the lobby, Kalen is pacing near reception, his winter coat unbuttoned, his face blotchy. 3 security guards form a loose perimeter. Sienna. He spots me. Finally, tell them to let me up. You need to leave. Not until we talk about what you did. His voice cracks. You destroyed Thanksgiving. Mom's been crying for weeks. I stay near the elevators, keeping distance. That's not my problem. $2.5 million. He says it like an accusation. You humiliated me in front of everyone. I stated a fact. You're selfish. You've always been selfish. Spit flies from his mouth. Several people have stopped walking. Phones out. That money should have gone to the family. Security moves closer. The lead guard speaks quietly into his radio. You need to leave, I repeat. Not until you apologize. I pull out my phone and start recording. You're trespassing. You're creating a disturbance. Leave immediately, or the police will be called. His face goes purple. This is bullshit. She's a thief. She stole my inheritance. Security escorts him toward the doors. His shouts dissolve into incoherent rage. I forward the video to my personal email. Then I head to HR. By 2 p.m., I'm sitting across from Janet Reeves, our Director of Human Resources. My phone sits between us, the video already played twice. This is the 3rd contact this week? Janet asks. 4th. He called my assistant yesterday. We'll document everything. I'm recommending you speak with legal people about a restraining order. Alistair is waiting in my office when I return. Security briefed me. Your brother sounds unstable. He's desperate. My parents have been funding his life for 30 years. How much did they give him? The number still stuns me. Over $400,000. Alistair whistles low. Jesus. Well, I got a $300 laptop. He's quiet, then pulls out his phone. I'm calling your father. You don't have to. What's the number? Warren answers on the 3rd ring. I hear his voice, tinny through the speaker. Mr. Edwards, this is Alistair Vance, managing partner at Whitmore Capital. I'm calling regarding your son's behavior at our offices this morning. What happened? He created a scene in our lobby. Security had to remove him. I'm sure it's just a misunderstanding. It's harassment. If he contacts this office again, we'll pursue legal action. Alistair's voice is steel. Your daughter is brilliant. Your son is not her responsibility. Do not contact this office again. He ends the call before Warren can respond. Thank you, I say. Don't thank me. That needed to be said. That evening, a calendar invite appears. Family Zoom call tomorrow, 7 p.m. Family discussion, in the subject line. I know what this is, an ambush. Piper texts 5 minutes later. Did you get the Zoom invite? This feels like a setup. It is, I type back. But I'm going in anyway. You sure? I have the receipts. The next evening, I join the call from my dining room, the New York skyline glowing behind me. The gallery view fills with faces. Aunts, uncles, cousins, Blythe, and Warren, front and center. And Kalen, positioned in his Lincoln Park apartment that my parents pay rent for. Thanks for joining, Sienna, Warren begins. We thought it was time to clear the air. Kalen leans toward his camera. He's prepared, notes visible on his desk. He launches into a speech about family betrayal, about how my success came at his expense. She's made herself rich while I struggle. He says, voice breaking on cue. She's turned into this cold corporate robot. Blythe dabs at her eyes. Warren nods along. When Kalen finishes, Warren speaks. Sienna, do you have anything to say? I lean back. Let's talk about money. Kalen's eyes narrow. You got a BMW 3 Series for your 18th birthday. I got a $300 laptop. You got $8,000 wired to Barcelona. You've been given over $400,000 in the last 12 years. That's a lie. Blythe's voice is shrill. How dare you make up these numbers? I have bank statements. You're ungrateful, Warren says. Kalen leans forward, emboldened. See? She's crazy. She's making this up. The grid of faces shows confusion, shock. Some nod along with my parents. I realize it then. They will never admit it, not willingly, not publicly. The narrative they've constructed is too important. Good parents don't show blatant favoritism. Good parents don't drain retirement funds for one child while giving the other nothing. So they'll deny it forever. I see, I say quietly. This conversation is over. I close my laptop mid-protest, cutting off Warren's demands, Blythe's tears. My phone lights up with texts, most from relatives asking what happened. A few from cousins who witnessed the disparity, and one from a number I haven't seen in 3 years. Liam Kincaid. Heard about the family drama. Proud of you. I stare at his message, remembering his voice during our last fight senior year at DePaul. They're vampires, Sienna. Choose yourself. I chose them. I chose dysfunction over healthy love. He saw what I couldn't. I type back. Thanks. Should have listened to you. His response is immediate. You're listening now. That's what matters. The next morning, 3 things happen. Janet emails me a harassment documentation packet. Alistair delivers a security system for my Tribeca condo to my desk. And Piper calls. 3 aunts texted me after Zoom, she says. They admitted they saw favoritism. They just never said anything. Why not? Because speaking up meant becoming a target. I'm the target now. Yeah, but you can handle it. They can't. By Friday, my assistant has implemented a protocol. All family calls go to voicemail. All emails filtered. My parents can't reach me directly. It feels like breathing for the first time in 29 years. Saturday morning, I'm reviewing purchase agreements when my phone buzzes with an unknown number. A text message. Just a photo. Kalen at JFK Airport, boarding pass visible. One-way ticket to New York. Then a second message. Coming to get what's mine. I screenshot both and forward them to Janet and my attorney. Then I text back. See you in court. Because I'm spending Christmas in Tribeca. In my apartment with the Hudson River view, I'm not hiding anymore. The doorman at 47 Light Street has Kalen's photo taped inside his security binder. Frank, 62, former NYPD, takes his job seriously. When I handed him the restraining order paperwork 3 days ago, he studied Kalen's face like he was memorizing a wanted poster. He shows up, Frank says, tapping the photo. I handle it. Christmas Eve arrives cold and clear. My Tribeca apartment smells like pine from the small tree Piper helped me pick out last week. No ornaments. Just white lights and the view of the Hudson turning silver in the afternoon sun. My phone buzzes at 7:47 p.m. Building security. Miss Edwards, we have a situation in the lobby. I'm already pulling up the security camera feed on my laptop before Frank finishes his sentence. There he is. Kalen, wearing the same North Face jacket from Thanksgiving, pacing in front of the marble reception desk, his mouth is moving fast. Frank stands between him and the elevators, arms crossed. I'm watching the feed now, I tell Frank. Don't let him pass the desk. Not a chance. I screenshot the timestamp. 7:47 p.m. Document everything. That's what the lawyer said. Kaylin's voice rises loud enough that I can hear it through the phone. She's my sister. You can't keep me from seeing my own sister on Christmas Eve. Frank's response is too quiet to catch, but I see him gesture toward the door. The universal sign for leave. Kaylin doesn't leave. He pulls out his phone, probably calling my number that's been blocked since December 3rd. When that doesn't work, he turns to the windows facing the street. Starts shouting, "Sienna, I know you're up there, stop hiding." I end the call with Frank and dial 911. My voice stays level when the operator answers. "I need to report a violation of a restraining order at 47 Light Street, Tribeca. The subject is currently in the building lobby refusing to leave." "Anyone?" Outside, someone's recording. I can see the phone cameras raised through the lobby windows, capturing Kaylin's meltdown in high definition. He's gesturing wildly now, pointing up at my building like he's giving a tour of his inheritance. "She stole it." His voice carries up through 17 floors of luxury condos. "That apartment should be mine. She's stealing my inheritance." There is no inheritance. Our grandmother's trust goes to charity. But facts have never mattered to Kaylin. 2 NYPD officers arrive in 11 minutes. I time it. Frank meets them at the door, shows them the restraining order copy, and points to Kaylin. The whole interaction takes 90 seconds before they're escorting my brother away from the building, his voice still echoing off the surrounding buildings about theft and betrayal and family loyalty. By 9 p.m., the video is on Twitter, entitled, "Man-Child Melts Down at Luxury Building." 40,000 views. By midnight, 200,000. Someone's added subtitles. Another person made it a TikTok with a crying filter. Kaylin's face, purple with rage, becomes a meme. I forward everything to my attorney. Every view, every share, every comment calling him pathetic. Documentation. Blythe calls at 6:47 a.m. on Christmas morning. I let it go to voicemail. She calls again at 7:03. At 7:15, Warren tries. At 8:30, I listen to the messages. "Sienna, this has gone too far." Blythe's voice shakes. "Your brother is devastated. He just wanted to talk to you. On Christmas. You've made him a laughingstock." Warren's message is shorter. "We're flying to New York. We need to settle this as a family." I text my lawyer. "Parents incoming. Office ambush likely." Her response arrives in 30 seconds. "Will notify building security. HR standing by." They show up at my office on the Tuesday after Christmas. I'm expecting them. So is building security, HR, and the corporate attorney Alistair arranged at 8 a.m. that morning. Warren and Blythe walk into the glass conference room like they own it. My mother's wearing her cream Talbot suit, the one she saves for parent-teacher conferences and church. Warren's in his insurance broker blazer, the one with the slight shine on the elbows. They don't expect the witnesses. Jennifer from HR sits to my left. Marcus, the corporate attorney, sits to my right. Building security waits outside the glass walls, visible and ready. "What is this?" Blythe's composure cracks immediately. "We came to talk to our daughter." "You came to harass an employee at her workplace," Marcus says. His voice could cut steel. "Miss Edwards has agreed to this meeting with counsel present." I set my phone on the table, recording light visible. "Legal in New York with notice," which Marcus just provided. "Sienna, please." Warren tries his reasonable father's voice. "We just want to understand. Why are you doing this to Kaylin?" "Tell me about the investment strategy," I say. My voice could be discussing market trends. $400,000 over 12 years. Walk me through the logic. Blythe's eyes dart to Warren. He shifts in his chair. "We invested in Kaylin because he needed help," Blythe says finally. "You were always so capable. You didn't need us." There it is. I tap my phone screen, marking the timestamp. "So, my capability disqualified me from equal treatment," I say. Not a question. Warren leans forward. "Your success was supposed to support the family. That's what families do. The strong ones help the struggling ones." Marcus writes something down. Jennifer's face stays neutral, but her fingers tighten around her pen. "Can you repeat that?" I ask Warren. "For clarity." "You were supposed to help your brother," Warren says, his voice rising. "You make millions. He's struggling. Family means helping each other." I stop the recording, tap it twice. The playback fills the conference room. "Your success was supposed to support the family." Blythe's face goes white. Warren's mouth opens, then closes. That recording will be provided to our legal team, Marcus says, standing. This meeting is over. Any further contact with Miss Edwards will be considered harassment and will be met with immediate legal action. Security escorts them out. Blythe's crying. Warren's arguing with the guard about rights and family and respect. The elevator doors close on his protests. Jennifer touches my shoulder before she leaves. I have 3 brothers, she says quietly. I understand. Back in my office, the emails are already coming in. Piper's created a shared drive. Family documentation, she's titled it. Inside are folders, financial records, witness statements, social media evidence, Aunt Linda's contribution, photos from our 18th birthday, Kaylin's lounge party with the ice sculpture, my Olive Garden dinner, 4 people around a table meant for 8, cousin Marcus, a video of Kaylin's Barcelona stories, bragging about bottle service that cost $8,000 in one night. 3 more cousins submit written statements. They all start the same way. I witnessed preferential treatment. Alistair emails at noon. Corporate counsel is yours for as long as you need. Nobody threatens my directors. The investment firm posts a statement on LinkedIn that afternoon. We stand behind our managing director and her exemplary professional record. By week's end, Kaylin's AI art gallery investors are demanding refunds. His Instagram rants about family betrayal get screenshotted by my legal team. His threats about exposing family secrets are documented, time-stamped, forwarded. Warren's insurance firm receives an anonymous complaint about his son's public behavior. Nothing actionable, but enough to raise questions. The parents' retirement fund, already depleted from Kaylin's ventures, hits zero. Reality arrives in the form of a Lake Forest mortgage payment they can't cover. On New Year's Eve, the extended family group chat explodes. Someone leaked the $437,000 figure. Aunt Patricia demands an explanation. Uncle Robert wants to know if his mother's estate was accessed. The grandmother's estate attorney schedules an emergency review. The family Christmas dinner, already postponed from the 25th, gets cancelled entirely. Due to conflict, Blythe's email says. Nobody responds. I spend New Year's in my apartment, 17 floors above the city. Piper's here. Alistair and his wife bring champagne. Jennifer from HR stops by with her partner. My chosen family, assembled by choice rather than blood. At midnight, the fireworks over the Hudson paint my windows gold and silver. My phone buzzes. Unknown number. The text preview shows, "You destroyed everything." I delete it without reading the rest. Pour another glass of champagne. Toast to the family I built myself. Outside, the city celebrates. Inside, I'm finally free. The lawsuit arrives by courier at my Tribeca building on a Tuesday morning in February. The doorman hands me the manila envelope with an apologetic expression, as if he knows what's inside will ruin my coffee. Kaylin Edwards v. Sienna Edwards. Infliction of emotional distress. Demand, $500,000. I read the complaint standing in my marble lobby, still wearing my running shoes, my breath fogging the floor-to-ceiling windows that face the Hudson. The language is breathtaking in its delusion. I sabotaged his creative potential. I systematically undermined his confidence. I manipulated family resources to ensure his failure. My phone buzzes. Alistair's name lights up the screen. You've seen it, he says when I answer. Reading it now. It's garbage. Frivolous doesn't begin to cover it. His voice carries the controlled fury of a man who spent 40 years watching entitled people abuse the legal system. They found some contingency ambulance chaser who thinks he can squeeze a settlement out of you. I flip to page 4. There it is. The claim about grandfather's trust. They're saying I influenced the estate distribution, that I manipulated a dying man to cut Kaylin out of inheritance he was supposedly owed. My grandfather left me $50,000 for graduate school. He left Kaylin nothing because Kaylin never visited him, not once during the 18 months he spent in hospice care. They want forensic accounting. I tell Alistair. Full disclosure of all my assets. Of course they do. It's a fishing expedition. Papers rustle on his end. They're also threatening to go public with unspecified family secrets unless you settle for $250,000. I walk to my window. A ferry crosses the river below, small and determined against the current. Let them go public, I say. 3 weeks later, discovery begins. My legal team is led by Patricia Morrison, a litigator who made her name destroying fraudulent personal injury claims. She has silver hair cut sharp as a blade and eyes that could calculate your net worth from across a courtroom. This will get ugly, she warns me during our first meeting in her Midtown office. They've listed your parents as character witnesses. They're claiming a pattern of emotional abuse dating back to childhood. Good. I slide a thumb drive across her conference table. Because I have documentation dating back just as far. She plugs it into her laptop. Her expression doesn't change as she scrolls through the files, but her fingers pause on the mouse for just a moment when she reaches the spreadsheet. 437,000, she says quietly. 437,000. Not including the 4,000 I spent on his DUI lawyer when he wrapped my Honda Civic around a telephone pole sophomore year. Patricia looks up. You paid for that? With my summer savings. I was supposed to buy a used car for my junior year. Took the bus instead. She makes a note. We'll need bank statements proving the transfers. I have 10 years of statements. Every birthday check they wrote him. Every emergency wire. Every failed business they funded. I meet her eyes. And I have the text messages where my mother admitted they did it because I didn't need help. Discovery reveals things even I didn't know. The deposition transcripts arrive in March, thick binders that Patricia walks me through in her office, while sleet batters the windows. Warren's testimony, page 47. We viewed Sienna as our retirement plan. She was always going to be successful. Kaylin needed more support. Blythe's testimony, page 62. The birthday parties were different because Kaylin is more social. He needed those experiences. Sienna preferred quiet celebrations. The lies are so smooth they've almost convinced themselves. But then there's page 93, where Patricia asked Blythe about the BMW versus the laptop. Well, yes, there was a disparity, but Sienna never complained. Did you ask if she minded? Long pause, recorded by the court reporter as lasting 14 seconds. No. Kaylin's deposition is a masterpiece of unforced error. Patricia barely has to push. He unravels like a sweater with one thread pulled. Name one business venture that generated revenue, she asks. The art gallery concept was solid. The market just wasn't ready. Did you lease gallery space? I was in the planning phase. For how long? 8 months. What did you do during those 8 months? Market research, competitive analysis. Can you provide documentation of this research? Silence. Then, it was mostly conceptual. Patricia has printed out his social media posts, laid them in a neat timeline across the conference table. December tweets calling me a corporate sociopath. January Instagram rants about family betrayal. The February post compares me to Scrooge, somehow managing to get both the Dickens reference and the basic plot wrong. Did you write these? Patricia asks. I was emotional. She just humiliated us at Thanksgiving. By purchasing real estate with her own money? His lawyer objects, but the damage is done. Every word is a court record now, permanent as concrete. The trial date is set for late March. Manhattan Supreme Court, a building that smells like old wood and older grudges. The courtroom has mahogany panels and marble floors, columns that rise toward vaulted ceilings, windows that let in sharp spring light. I wear charcoal gray. Kaylin wears a suit that doesn't fit right, the jacket pulling across his shoulders, the pants puddling over shoes he clearly borrowed. Patricia's opening statement is surgical. She projects the PowerPoint onto the courtroom screen. The same financial data I compiled in that Chicago hotel room, now presented as Exhibit A through M. Every transfer documented. Every disparity is quantified. The BMW versus laptop photo becomes evidence. Patricia has it blown up poster size. The judge studies it for a long moment, his reading glasses sliding down his nose. 18 years old. Patricia says, same parents, same birthday, 3 weeks apart, $30,000 car versus $300 laptop. Warren sits in the gallery behind Kaylin, his face the color of an old newspaper. Blythe dabs at her eyes with tissue, but the judge doesn't look at her. He's reading the bank statements now, following the trail of money with one finger. Our forensic accountant testifies on day 2. Richard Brennan, 30 years of experience. A man who once traced mob money through 14 shell corporations. He walks the court through every transfer, his voice steady and bored. like he's reading a grocery list. Between ages 18 and 30, the defendant's brother received approximately $437,000 from their parents. The plaintiff received in that same period approximately $8,000, primarily in the form of small holiday gifts. Kalen's lawyer objects. Relevance, Your Honor. This case is about emotional distress, not family finances. The finances establish the pattern of favoritism, Patricia counters, which directly relates to the defendant's claim that my client sabotaged him. The judge nods. Overruled. Continue, Mr. Brennan. Alistair testifies on day 3. He wears the same expression he uses in board meetings when someone presents a bad quarterly report, disappointed but unsurprised. In 10 years of working with Miss Edwards, I have never witnessed unethical behavior. She is meticulous, honest, and arguably the most talented analyst I've supervised. Kalen's lawyer tries to rattle him. Isn't it true you have a personal relationship with the plaintiff? I'm her mentor. Yes. Doesn't that bias your testimony? Alistair removes his glasses, polishes them with a handkerchief. I've mentored 47 analysts in my career. 3 have made managing director before age 30. Sienna is one of them. That's not biased. That's pattern recognition. Piper testifies. Liam sends a written statement from California, describing the family dynamics he witnessed in college. 3 of my colleagues provide character references. The video compilation plays on day 4. Kalen's Christmas Eve meltdown outside my building, his screaming about inheritance and theft, the NYPD officers trying to calm him down. Then clips from his social media, the rants and accusations, his claim that I stole his destiny. The judge watches without expression. When it ends, he makes a note on his pad. Kalen takes the stand on day 5. Patricia approaches him the way you'd approach a snake that's already bitten someone. Mr. Edwards, can you name one business venture that succeeded? They would have succeeded with proper funding. That's not what I asked. Name one that succeeded, generated profit, paid its own expenses. His jaw works. The market conditions weren't favorable. For 12 years? Not one favorable market condition? You don't understand creative industries. Patricia picks up a document. I have your student loan history here. You attended DePaul University for 6 years, changing majors 4 times, and left without a degree. Your parents paid $118,000 in tuition. Is that correct? I was finding myself. And did you? Find yourself? The courtroom is silent except for someone's phone buzzing in the gallery. The judge glances toward the sound, annoyed. I'm an artist, Kalen finally says. Show me the art. He has nothing. No portfolio, no exhibitions, no sales. Just concepts and plans and dreams funded by people who should have known better. The judge's ruling comes down the next morning. I'm back in my office when Patricia calls. Dismissed with prejudice, she says. He can't refile. Ever. And the judge awarded you $100,000 in legal fees, plus costs. Kalen's personally liable for the full amount. I close my office door, lean against it. Through the window, I can see the Hudson, gray and rolling under clouds. There's more. Patricia continues. The judge included a statement in his ruling. I'm reading it now. This court finds the plaintiff's claims to be not merely without merit, but a transparent attempt to extort funds from a family member whose only crime was succeeding through legitimate effort, while the plaintiff failed through lack of same. My phone buzzes. A text from Piper. Did you hear? They're selling the house. Another text. This one from a number I don't recognize. This is Warren. We need to talk about payment arrangements. I delete it without responding. The scholarship fund is established by May. The Sienna Edwards Scholarship for first-generation students at University of Illinois. Full tuition, 4 years, renewable based on academic performance. The first recipient is a girl from rural Illinois, whose parents are factory workers. Her thank you letter arrives at my office in June. You gave me a chance, she writes, to be the first. I frame it, hang it where the family photo used to be. The Tribeca Penthouse smells like expensive wine and possibility. 6 months since Thanksgiving, and I've stopped flinching when the doorbell rings. Alistair raises his glass across my dining table, candlelight catching the crystal. To Sienna's newest fund launch. $10 million under management, and she makes it look easy. It's not easy, I say, but I'm smiling. The original Basquiat behind him cost more than my parents' Lake Forest house sold for. I chose it specifically for that wall, the one where family photos might have hung in someone else's home. Piper reaches over and squeezes my hand. Around us, 8 people laugh and talk, passing dishes, refilling glasses, my chosen family, a senior partner from the firm, 2 women from my building, who became friends over morning coffee, Alistair's wife, a college roommate who flew in from Seattle. None of them need anything from me except my company. The doorbell rings. I don't tense. My doorman knows the protocols. More champagne? I ask, already standing. When I return with 2 bottles, Piper is looking out at the Hudson, the lights of New Jersey flickering across dark water. Do you think you'll ever do Thanksgiving with the family again? The question doesn't hurt the way it might have 6 months ago. Family isn't blood, I tell her, gesturing at the table. It's who shows up for you. She nods slowly. We're in the same time frame, late November, but everything feels different. Last year I was bracing for impact. This year I'm grateful for the explosion that freed me. My journal sits on the bedroom nightstand. Last night's entry was simple. Their emergency is not my responsibility. My therapist helped me write that sentence. We've been working through it monthly, processing decades of manipulation, understanding that my parents created Kaylin's entitlement with every birthday disparity, every wired emergency fund, every excuse. The guilt is gone. Not buried, not managed. Actually gone. Senior Managing Director, Alistair announces to the table, because he loves this part. Youngest in the firm's history. Stop, I say, but I'm laughing. My phone buzzes. A text from Liam. Heard about the promotion. Always knew you'd choose yourself eventually. Proud of you. I type back quickly. Thank you. For everything. His response is immediate. You did this, not me. But he saw it first, and saw what I couldn't. That's worth acknowledging. The dinner conversation shifts to someone's terrible contractor, then to summer travel plans. Normal problems. Solvable problems. Nobody needs me to rescue them from the consequences they created. Later, after everyone leaves, Piper helps me clear plates. I meant to tell you, she says, that young woman you've been mentoring? She finally set boundaries with her mother. My mentee, 26, brilliant, drowning in family obligation. I told her my story at a women's leadership conference in March, showed her the spreadsheet. Explained how documentation became freedom. Good for her, I say, and mean it. The UIUC Scholarship Fund is supporting 5 students now. The legal settlement from Kaylin bought them futures he never bothered to build for himself. My legacy isn't the money I made, it's the pattern I broke. My laptop shows an unread email notification. Warren's name in the sender field. I don't open it. I drag it directly to the trash, then empty the folder. A birthday card arrived yesterday with a Lake Forest postmark. Blythe's handwriting on the envelope. I gave it back to the doorman, marked return to sender. Last week someone tried to bring DoorDash breakfast to my building. The order name was Kaylin. My doorman, a magnificent man, refused the delivery. Their narrative is no longer my concern. I pour myself the last of the champagne and walk to the terrace. Manhattan spreads below me, 8 million people living their complicated lives. The November air is cold, but I don't go inside. My phone buzzes. Unknown number. The preview shows enough. You destroyed us. I don't read the full message. My thumb hovers over it for less than a second before I delete it. The truth settles in my chest, warm and final. I didn't destroy them. I stopped enabling their destruction of me. I raise my glass to the skyline, to the life I built brick by brick, while they expected me to crumble. To the family we choose, I say to the night. The champagne tastes like freedom.